Get on the freaking boat now. You're going to miss the opportunity.
The technological advances are moving so rapidly now that in 5 years, it's hard to fathom, but I really think that automation will probably be 80% of all business.
You can literally go from start to finish on an entire product sales process using AI only.
In your local communities, pay attention to the small businesses that have been the manual businesses that are for sale, that have a book of business, a local following, loyal customer base that you could buy and 4 times it in 12 to 24 months, just with automation.
So the businesses that win aren't faster, they're smarter. The being ready for that 5-year period, hell, being ready for 12 months from now is the key to your business's success.
Dawn doesn't check dashboards, she gets alerts. She doesn't react to reviews, she preempts them. That's the power of what we call a self-aware business.
Welcome back to Lords of Lending, where small businesses get real, strategic, and deadly honest insights into funding, scaling, and adopting faster than their competition. I'm Shane Pierson, joined, as always, by the mighty Stephanie Dunn and Brian Congelliere. Good morrow to you both. Good morrow. Brian, what is fun and exciting in the life of Senior Congelliere?
What's fun and exciting? The loans, buddy.
The
loans are exciting.
An excessive amount of loans. In fact, it's actually happened. I don't think I've seen business this busy in a long time. Like the number of transactions, I think I'm up to like a $90 million pipeline of different sized loans of all different sorts. And it's a freaking headache to grind them all out because they're just getting more and more complex. Are you seeing the same thing?
Yeah, ton of loans. It's crazy. People keep asking, people I know keep asking, is the economy affecting you, or, are things slowing down at all? And I'm like, it's going crazy right now.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I think, Steph, you're going to be giving a presentation next week in, what is it? The funeral convention or something like that.
Yeah, I'm speaking next week on the Silver Tsunami. And we've talked about this for years about how the baby boomers are getting older and older and older. And we've been talking about this for 10 years and we're here now. And so I think that's the wave we're seeing. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. It's, okay, I'm ready to retire. I'm ready for my kid to take over the business. Let's start doing this. The succession planning that we've all been waiting for is here.
Yeah, a lot of the acquisitions that I've funded lately have all been older folks getting rid of the business. Kids don't want to take it over, so they're selling it off. And I was actually on the Reddits this morning.
You read it on the Reddit?
The Reddit.
And someone was saying that exact thing. That actually, they were saying, to your point, Steph, they were saying, this guy was asking, yeah, I would like to buy something in the next 3 to 5 years. And these people were commenting, 3 to 5 years, it's going to be done.
Yeah.
We'll be doing something else.
Exactly.
Get on the freaking boat now. You're going to miss the opportunity.
Yeah. And it's interesting because there was a little wave there of startups after COVID. And now it's, why start something from scratch when you could just buy something that's already been around now for a few years? Like, buy that, optimize that, and grow that.
Well, that's our biggest selling point when we're out in the market talking to any type of small business owners, that they are, if anything, your risk is lower. And coming from a banker who constantly is trying to mitigate risk, right? That's our whole thing. But it's easier any day of the week to try to get somebody money to buy a business than it is for them to start one up. There's a few nuances to that when you're hyper experienced in it, but the majority of people that have this brilliant concept to try to go start something are gonna see a lot larger mountain to climb from the paperwork standpoint, from proving the risk is worth taking to a bank, as opposed to just buying something that already has some cash flow and even changing and morphing it, trying to get it to convert into something that'll generate the cash flow that you want. So it's yeah, I think that's going to be the play that any of the customers we're talking to now can maximize their potential profits in the next 3 to 5 years. So, in fact, that our storyline kind of takes us down that pathway today, and we're gonna set up 2 different types of discussions. One will be what 2030 will look like for the small business owner, and give you an example, tell you a fun story. The AI came up with this idea of calling it Vanessa. So I don't know why Vanessa was the name. Right.
Or Nessa.
Vanessa being the name of the successful business owner. I mean, no issues with the person with the name Vanessa, but on the other side, Derek was the name of the failure business that we're gonna talk about.
Yeah.
Derek makes
Derek.
sense. Vanessa,
Makes sense.
I don't see the collaboration between it.
But
Again, any Vanessa out there that might listen to this, go to town. I meant, rip us a new one for it, but it's all AI's fault because we had them come up with a fun story after talking to it for 45 minutes. So, okay,
Anyone's by the name of Alexa can't do anything anymore because you walk into any house and anyone who calls her by her name, the bot is responding. Yeah.
just the robot in the other room starts saying, "Can I help you?" No, damn it. I'm talking I love it.
So now
So
Vanessa needs to change her name too.
okay, so what we can even change the name on it live. Instead of Vanessa, what should we call it? Steph. We'll call it
No,
Stephanie.
no. Because
The
then on the way,
successful
that's gonna be a
business.
problem.
The future ready seller, the perfect business in 5 years, and it's specifically to the e-commerce brand, but I could say Steph, it's good. Do you have a middle name, Steph? Is it just
Dawn.
Dawn? How about Dawn? Let's go with Dawn.
Dawn could be, yeah, Dawn Corleone, yeah.
Sure. Okay, Dawn. So instead of saying, so if you've got the storyline, Steph, go ahead and open it up. So big picture, when we talk about a 2030 ready business, it's about not like flying cars or like metaverse stories or anything. It's about real-time awareness, the dynamic decision making, and really a predictive action. So thinking about what my business is like. If I'm out in the market today buying a business or I have one existing, I'm thinking, how do I prepare for that year? Let's tee up some of the ways that a business might be successful and like some of the great things that are happening now in the world that we predict will really change how you do business. So Steph, give us that fun storyline.
Dawn runs a sustainable pet accessories e-commerce brand. She started small, built on Shopify, niche into Instagram following, handmade products. But she made one crucial decision early on. Her business wouldn't rely on her brain alone. By 2025, she built a tech stack that thinks. Here's what that looks like. Her site runs multilingual by default, not with freelancers, but with AI translation that localizes content for 6 regions. An AI assistant scans TikTok, Reddit, and YouTube daily for emerging trends, competitor mentions, and search behavior. When hemp pet collars started trending, she already had a prototype listed within 72 hours. Genius!
That's amazing.
Customer service is handled 100% by AI. Yes. Trained on her tone and brand voice, it replies instantly, escalates only if needed. Boy, wouldn't that, Lord knows we can't train humans to do that.
No kidding.
Inventory levels adjust automatically based on weather forecasts, sales velocity, and marketing campaigns triggers. And pricing updates daily, auto-indexed against her competitors. And her AI tells her when her profit margins drop on an SKU and when her ad creative fatigues, when her average order values start to slip. Wow. Dawn doesn't check dashboards. She gets alerts. She doesn't react to reviews. She preempts them. That's the power of what we call a self-aware business. I want it.
Yeah, I want to own that business. Makes you question what you do on a daily basis, just based off of all of that being possible. And I mean, Brian, you're huge in AI. You have like 17 different models open at any given time. Every time you're over at my house, even just hanging out for the weekend, whatever. Yeah, Brian is the quintessential AI like fanatic, and I'm sure it's become cliche. Everyone keeps talking about AI, but I really think that everything that we're talking about here it's on its way. It's going to happen, and businesses that are prepped are already there. So how do you see this work? Where have you already started to see it now that people could take advantage of even?
I think a lot of this stuff that Dawn is using in her business has been have been things that have been done for years now, right? By big companies, right? Pricing on airline flights, pricing on on Amazon for Pete's sake. Everything there's been programs that have been written to dynamically change pricing and do all of that for you. I think with AI now, it makes it more accessible for this small business owner, for that 1 to 2 person shop that, they're just starting out. I remember I was talking to a borrower that sold a little computer, and it was just him, and he hired little by little, hired one person to help with fulfillment and just grew the business steadily. And this type of scenario, this type of automation is completely accessible for someone like that nowadays. All of this stuff, it's crazy. Everything, I watch the YouTubes and everything on it. There's constantly people coming out with new content about the latest AI chatbots that can handle all of your customer service. You teach them, train them, and they do everything for you. You don't need people, you sales agents, everything. So you can literally go from start to finish on an entire product uh, um, sales process using AI only.
Mhm. I mean,
It's
that's interesting
glorious.
about, like I think what's stopping this from being a current reality for a small business owner today is that it's all, like, currently separated from one another. So it's like that you have a little tool over here to do this, a little tool over to do there to do that, and it's hard to unless you know what you're looking for, it's really actually hard to find all of that stuff and figure out how to get all of it to talk together. So I think the convergence of all of these different functionalities into one type of essentially business operator, I mean, that term is used, AI operator, that needs to happen, and I think it's coming, where someone can come in and really dominate every one of these elements and provide that service. I mean, Microsoft has a bunch of different tools that integrate, and they're great at a couple things, but everything else is kind of just okay, right? Like, tools and options that they have, whether it's a CRM or whatever else. And it's hard to make a one size fits all product to every single industry because of all the different nuances of how those things operate. So they've done a great job just on the existing tool bases that they have and utilizing Copilot to try to get everything to communicate across all of that. But something that functions this well for somebody who's like an e-commerce brand or hell, even any type of retailer, to be able to see current up-to-date financials at any given point. You pull it up on your phone, whatever, you can ask the AI agent on your phone to tell you. Like, I see that becoming normal life now that iPhones have it on their has have AI embedded, and all the different versions of AI that are out there now just constantly leveling up to try to one up each other and be the next hottest product. So that fight is just gonna exponentially increase the availability for this to be really plug and play. And I would love to see more businesses operate with this type of functionality. Talk about the scalability or the exit strategy. Once you've built a business like that, you can say,
Mhm.
"Yep, I got my business operator just rolling this." Honestly, if I had that kind of a business, I wouldn't wanna exit it. I just use that thing as a damn ATM more than anything else. Like, why would you sell something that functions this clearly? I mean, there's still inherent risks, and you need to make sure you have trust in the AI to be able to live on the other end of that, to actually be able to realize that the data you're getting is true in real time, and you gotta make sure the infrastructure is in place. But I feel without that, without the current framework of today's world not having all of these talking to each other yet is gonna be what stops somebody from in the next 3 to 6 months from implementing it. But we've gotta start now. We've gotta be reaching towards it. So what are some ways you think that a guy buying a business today, let's use that example. We'll say Dawn. Let's say Dawn was out buying a business, and she's out looking at e-commerce brands, and right now, Amazon has not even e-commerce, let's just say a retail business, one that has a product that they love that they're doing. But, so I wanna hear, what do you guys think about uh, what could be done today to turn this on? What are the opportunities to look for if you're out buying a business today? Or you're somebody that wants to go buy a business. I think that's the critical component. Think about, other than just buying something that's already producing money. I think, Brian, this morning you were talking about this acquisition from Reddit that was a perfect example, some old 80-year-old dude selling a business. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, so it was just a quick comment. I was looking for stuff. I just peruse on there to respond to people about SBA loans usually, and just chime in, and because most people have literally zero clue. So when you're out there responding to people and actually providing value, it's like really helpful for them, and they're like, "Whoa, this is amazing." And it's, just stuff that we do on the daily, so it's not anything that we think is spectacular. But I was reading one of these comments about buying a business and about this silver tsunami. And one of the comments said, "I did exactly this. I bought a nursery business." I think he said he put down 70 grand, got a loan for 700, and it was an old business, like non-functional website, and he literally 4x'd his profit because he implemented he just literally took it online and implemented some simple um, automation processes, online marketing, better branding experience, customer experience in general, and 4x'd it. I mean, someone asked him, like, I mean, are we talking like a small amount, a tiny amount of profit? And he's like, well, I'll just give you an idea. My revenue is like 5 million bucks a year at this point. So,
Incredible. Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty decent return in, like, I think he said he did it like a year or two ago.
Interesting. Yeah, to see that aggressive of an increase in that short period would
Yeah.
help.
I think if you can find you know what we need? We need like an AI butler. And if you can find an AI butler, I know that's what I need. I need a butler that tells me, all right, if you want to buy this HVAC company, you're going to need these. I just, you upload the company financials and you say, all right, uh, AI butler, what am I going to need to transform this business in 12 to 24 months? Implementing any type of AI tools available. Because right now, like in the morning, I get TLDR AI newsletter every morning. And every morning I'm scrolling through and I'm like, oh my goodness, there's 5,000 more AI apps. I can't keep up, But if I had a butler that told me, all right, this business you can optimize with these 7 AI tools, because you're right, there are so many and you need one for this and one for that and one for this, right? So if my butler could tell me exactly what I needed for that business, each business to 4 times my revenue in a year, that's what I need. And I would be on the hunt. Entrepreneurs right now, if I'm an entrepreneur, I'm perusing Reddit daily to find small businesses, legacy businesses that are for sale that haven't yet uh, uh, optimized their businesses with any technology. I mean, think about the gold mine that we're sitting on in America.
Oh, yeah, you've got them, you got Biz Buy Sell. Reddit, you might have a hard time. I think that tends to feed millennials and below, or like as far as age group goes, on who's actually on Reddit. Like those are the dudes that just championed it and won the game, like Brian was saying. But yeah, you go to Biz Buy Sell, any of the web-based things that are out there. Hell, you could even start just looking around for
Local
business
On
around
Google. Yeah.
Google,
or
Facebook.
your local community, guys.
Who
Like
makes a freaking offer? You can
in
do
your
it.
local communities, pay attention to the small businesses that have been the manual businesses that are for sale, that have a book of business, a local following, loyal customer base that you could buy and 4 times it in 12 to 24 months just with automation.
Yeah, and I think even the tool is available now to be able to start analyzing information that way. I mean, I think about what I could use as a banker if I had the availability, but most banks still kinda need to catch up to this. To be able to take all the data that we have to analyze for a business, which is the normal due diligence stuff. We're getting tax returns, we're getting financials on a company. I mean, if you think about our relationship with any buyer or any borrower of a loan, SBA loan, we're taking the 90% of the risk on this acquisition, right? On any business they go in, we're gonna go up to 90%. And so we have the most on the line, and we're not even touching the operations of the business. So yes, we take personal guarantees when we have or on any of these deals, personal guarantees, and we'll have to maybe take a lien on a home, but none of that stuff's paying back the deal in the end. We're losing money if we have to go take back that loan. But the way that we have to analyze it now could even be severe or very quickly automated. But the value add is creating that narrative for the customer now. Hey, on top of what you're doing to buy this business, and we know that it makes money historically, and maybe some of these fun ideas you have. Hey, here's what we figured out this business could do from the automation perspective and actually provide that use to the customer. Like help them to see that they could functionally do that. Just knowing a couple of the metrics would be awesome to be able to upload and say, this is a business. Here's my storyline and the summary on what the business is doing. What are some great ways to automate this now and prepare it for 2030? I mean, we can just know how to generate the prompt well enough, you could actually start to get feedback on ways to integrate AI today. So I think that tool is one that everyone should use. I know I talk to borrowers constantly, and trying to use that to help prepare just simple business plans, not the more granular ones that might need some more thought, but that projections. Anytime you have a question that you're going to go ask the bank, you might as well just go ask ChatGPT or Grok or something because you'll probably get just as clear of an answer, if not a clearer one, than the banker trying to sell you something. So there's like that tool, that data is available to start implementing the adjustments now to be able to transition that business ahead in years to come, and be that dawn that was talked about in the story that can wake up and have a perfect view of your financials at any given point in time, to know your profit margin on one product. Most small businesses owners, they don't have that kind of clarity. They're still using Excel files, which leads me to the next storyline, Brian. This is Derek, the falling behind business or
Yes.
business owner. Let's go through that.
Okay, so here's the story. Here's the scenario. Derek sells pet accessories. Extremely solid stuff. He's on Etsy, has a loyal base, built it all himself, but that's the problem. He's still doing everything by himself. No automation, no CRM, no email retargeting. Customer service is his inbox. Fulfillment done out of his garage every night while he's watching reruns or Netflix. Apparently, the AI is still stuck in the 90s.
Yep.
He refuses to use AI because he doesn't trust bots and has no analytics. So let's see. The issue is this. When the AI generated reviews start flooding his space, Derek didn't know how to respond. His customers lost trust because they couldn't tell what was real. His competitor was running influencer campaigns and product drops based on real-time sentiment data. Derek was still posting the same Insta photos from 2022. By 2030, Derek's business is failing. It's forgotten. It's basically dying a slow death at that point.
Makes you
So,
wonder how the hell is he still in business at
That's
that point? I mean,
depressing, man. That
even
sounds
today, they don't even know how that business would survive, let alone flipping
well,
20,
it's
30.
not.
yeah, it's not. It's just the slow death. They have maybe the loyal customer base that they built up, but then it gets surpassed by everything else. The brand starts to fall off, and other brands emerge and take their place.
Guys, it's not that far off from a lot of businesses in America today. Like, think about this. And even institutions that we all have worked for in the past, or mid-sized companies that don't have a CRM, don't have email retargeting. Customer service is an actual person that gets an inbox, that has an inbox and has to manually respond. I mean, I would say the financial services industry is probably pretty much eh, to a T what I just described. Client service is an inbox. There's no automation, very little CRM, and there's no AI built into any of it.
No, people I think, are still scared. They don't trust the bots. That's that's essentially it. I mean,
Don't
how many
say
times have
it.
you heard that? And I get the banking world is going to has plenty of regulations, and they're slow to adopt and always have been slow to adopt. And I know that from government regulation side, that has a big impact. Hence why within our industry, the SBA world, the previous administration had tried to open up for like fintechs. And great idea to try to see if we can get some innovation into a very static, slow growth market. But I mean, that came with its own problems, and there's a shakeup in our industry and what's happening in the lending world. But I think that it is inevitably coming, and regardless of what framework or I'd say old school way of thinking still bars it, those companies are very quickly gonna get left in the dust. The bank's gonna get left in the dust, and translating right back to our customers, the same thing. If we're not seeing this, I think this might become a normal part of our underwriting for the bank. Think about it. Like, what tools of operation, like automation, do you have in this business? What have you built into it? That should be a discussion we have right now on ways that we know when somebody's going to take this over, that they're thinking ahead. They're not just thinking, "How do I keep the status quo with this business?"
Mhm.
I'm probably gonna incorporate that one. I'm gonna start asking, "Talk to me about how the hell you're gonna automate this business," which relies a lot more on the business plans that we have to collect from people that are going in to buy it, or even people just applying for a loan, and for heaven's sake.
Well,
So I
we
think
need to
that
apply this to our business as well. It has to be reciprocal, right? So when we're talking to our small business owners and entrepreneurs across the country, and we're asking them, okay, the business you're buying, talk me through the automation that exists now and what your plans are for the future. and what CRM is in there now, what's the plan for the future, and then client experience, what kind of digital tools do you have today, what's the plan for the future, and oh, by the way, here's how we do it on our end. Like we have to be able to lead by example, right? In the financial services industry, we need to lead by example with all those questions. We almost need a checklist for ourselves and for the client that asks these questions, and it should be incorporated in the business plan. Theirs and ours, guys.
No, that's brilliant. And it's yeah, that's if we're gonna go out and sell it, we gotta have moral authority to do it. That's the phrase or the missionary like back 20 years ago, something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
we can't sell cars. We can't sell cars and show up at their dealership on a bicycle.
no, that's exactly it. It doesn't really work. It's like you really don't know what this car's like, so you're just selling me garbage. Like that's the whole concept of it. Now, there's one point I wanna pull back to Brian that was in this story, and it's one that we've talked about, the not understanding what the market is, and we had this conversation earlier today, and understanding where customers are, like how to find the customers and how to, like, be able to approach them the right way, and kind of an existing shift that's happening that I think anybody buying a business now needs to understand the way that their customer's thinking and how to keep them, retain them, and build more. Uh, the shift from relying on typical advertisements to more social and cultural influence on the decisions we make. So from the influencer model the, um, to the not necessarily the review base, but these subgroups like you were spending time on Reddit, Brian, and there's Discord and YouTube has ways to create a narrative of understanding around product decisions when you're making purchases. I think especially in the more expensive product market, right? So we get into the 100 plus or the service base, it's 100 more than $100 that somebody's gonna make a little bit more expensive decision. How can somebody begin to adapt to what the current world is doing now so that they don't miss that pendulum swing back towards kind of an authentic approach to purchasing items? So, where do you see and this is leading away from some of the chats that we had built into this. What's a way that a business owner can adapt their sales approach to be focused on the way customers are going to look for information about products today?
I think I think a lot of it, so people when they buy, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. When you buy something, first thing you do, if it's, a decently sized, priced product, you're gonna ask other people, right? Other people that you know and trust. And I think those types of communities where you can access that because reviews now, every time I see a company that has 4.5-star reviews and higher and like 300 plus reviews on Google, first thing that goes through my mind is, oh, they paid for those reviews and they filtered out the bad ones.
Yep.
So it's not really like you're saying, there's not really an authentic way for people to actually tell. And I think, sadly, those who are not as informed or technically savvy probably look at that and go, oh, great reviews. Awesome. I'm going to go to that business. And so it probably will continue to work to some degree. But I think that more people, there's a shift more towards um, just finding trusted community voices. Talking to a mutual friend of ours who worked in marketing, he was mentioning to me that a lot of folks in their research now, when they're looking at things before they buy, they are going to places like Reddit, Discord, community groups, Facebook groups, places where they know that there's people in there who are chiming in based on actual experience as opposed to, some paid bot or, you know, before bots, it was someone in a foreign country leaving fake reviews, right?
Makes me think of, I'm a big dude, if anyone hasn't figured that out yet. Relatively wide. I
Like,
wear
as in here or
well, all of the above.
oh,
I got a large melon. I classify myself as a, reconfiguration of a rhino
tall
in
and
my
large store?
stat. In fact, I need to show you my representation of what I feel I look like internally. This is This is my rhino. This
That's
is
your
what
spirit animal.
very, very beautiful spirit animal, but this is generally how I feel about my stature whenever I think about myself. And when I go shop for clothing at any given point in time, I've gotta go shop in the big size. And if you go on Amazon and you try to buy a piece of clothing off Amazon, I'm not sure if anyone's ever had this experience before. Doesn't matter what size they put on there, it still feels like you're putting on a small. You think about like a just trying to sleeve the sausage, a little bit too tight, and it was supposed to be a double XL. Doesn't work very well, right? So I naturally have to go look on Reddit and go to YouTube, and I search all over the place, anywhere but the reviews to try to find something that fits me. So I might be considered a unique customer to the natural clothing retailer of today. But I think, how does that guy find me, right? How does that business owner find this guy who's shopping all over the place? And if he's just focusing in on that one element, how sticky is that in the next 3 to 5 years, right? Are they gonna still be around? They gotta change their strategy. They gotta find a different way to get the big rhino guy and get the right clothes on him, not sell him, small size pretending to be in a double XL. So, what do we do? How do we change the minds of the business owner to make this a priority? I know it's worth having a conversation even when we're underwriting them, but what nuggets of wisdom could we hand down to these people?
And that's where automation comes in for sure. I mean, so I sit here and I chuckle listening to you guys who've just discovered the social network of the women, the moms reviews. This has been going on for hundreds of years, guys. Just so everybody knows,
That's brilliant.
women for hundreds of years have been exchanging intel on goods and services for hundreds of years. So when I'm online shopping for some Spanx, I'm not looking at Reddit reviews. Yeah, let me see if that random stranger liked those Spanx. I'm texting my girlfriends and saying, hey, has anyone bought these Spanx lately? How do they feel? And are they true to size? Like, that's what we're doing. We've been doing this for hundreds of years. So finally, you know what has happened? There has been that silver tsunami you talked about where the transfer of wealth has and been happening and is going to happen even more. Women influence 80% of all purchasing in the world. And we're talking big and small, right? So women now are doing the buying and have the purse strings, and women have this social network of trusted advisors that share intel. So if I'm a small business, how do we tap into that? Well, we're tapping into that with AI and technology and automation because we can see people's buying patterns. And before I even know I need a new pair of jeans, I'm getting an alert on Amazon saying, hey, the jeans you bought last time are on sale. Do you want another pair? And I'm like, ooh, that's nice. Sure. I'll take
Yeah.
another pair of those.
Makes you think that if you're not taking advantage of the tools that do exist in that market, like, you're missing out on a huge opportunity now, but you're gonna be completely off the boat. Like, your ability to scrap up sales down the road is basically gone. I mean, that's the fear that I have for most businesses that aren't preparing today. Here's what's wild is that banks might not even be a part of the picture in about 5 years. This is an
Right.
interesting way of thinking about our future. There's companies like Intuit, Stripe, and some of like Shopify, and all of them already have like embedded capital built into their ecosystem. If you're on Amazon, you probably get if you're doing well on Amazon, you're getting hit constantly with their advertisements telling you to get a loan so you can buy more inventory, put more SKUs on. They know because you have a good conversion rate because all of that data is readily available to them. So how you use these systems is a doorway into new capital that you may not have had before. So you won't just apply for that money. You're really going to be offered it based on those numbers in real time. So it's that alone shows you that's where the money is, not just go around and talking to Bob behind the bank stand saying, "Hey, yes, I'll take your money. Let me go talk for 45 minutes to an hour, and we'll wait 3.5 months to get all your paperwork and maybe get you a loan down the road." It's gonna be instantaneous because I know over the last 3 months, me being into it, that you have been cash flowing like a beast, and I'm hooked into your bank account, so I know all of your numbers and how much profit you're putting out. Sure, I'll give you $300,000. Here's click send. There's the money, and I know I'm gonna get it back because I'm gonna set it up on auto pay to just auto withdraw out of your account. This is already happening. So there is capital in those environments, being controlled and how you step into them and making sure you're organized will be the difference between you having access to it or not. So the story here with Dawn and Derek, it's just isn't fiction really. just really early in that process. So the businesses that win aren't faster, they're smarter. So being ready for that 5-year period, hell, being ready for 12 months from now is the key to your business's success, and finding ways to access the knowledge like we're spitting out here of AI integration and ways that banks are trying to get you money is critical for you actually succeeding the way that you know your business can. Just get prepared, be ready for it. So this is Lords of Lending. Make sure to push the subscribe button. This is where the future isn't something that we actually fear. It's just something that we fund. See you next time.